Okay, so welcome everybody to Super Relaxation Week, day 2. I know it sounds crazy, but yeah. So yeah, last week I was looking at Wim Hof and stimulation through cold showers and all that sort of thing, and the importance of that in life in general, but in kind of spiritual life, to feel stimulated and alive. And then this week, we're looking at in more detail at relaxation. And so yesterday I had a session, and I introduced the Alexander technique, semi-supine position, and a little bit of theory around relaxation, like three main points that you need to relax. So firstly, you need to have something that you feel confident is going to support you, so you're not going to relax unless you come in touch with something that's solid ground, or the solidity of your own skeleton and all that sort of thing. That's the first thing. And then next thing, you need to have time, to feel there's enough time. So the body often needs quite a long time to for things to happen. Well, it does, mine does anyway. So you just need to give it time, give things enough time. So that's the second thing. And then the third thing is to not have kind of new input coming in that you're having to process. So often when we're processing things, it's like we slightly tense up in the kind of preparedness to engage with it. So to have nothing new coming in is another important principle when we're trying to relax. So I kind of teach at the Manchester Buddhist Centre in the UK, and I've often sort of worked on meditation courses, and so today I've got Nishpara with me, who also teaches at the Manchester Buddhist Centre. And me and Nishpara had a phase of maybe, like, I think it might have been about 6 or 7 years where we were just working together doing the introductory meditation courses. And one of the things I really appreciate, we kind of complemented each other quite well, really. So I'm kind of maybe a bit more on the theoretical side and all that. But Nishpara is really great at body scan. He's a yoga teacher, so really good at the detailed kind of body scans and the details of relaxation. Is cringing it. So I think so anyway. So I wanted to get Nishpara on to do a session with us, and so here he is. And so I'm going to hand over to Nishpara and enjoy it. Yeah, thank you.
Okay, so here we go. I probably picked up quite a few things from teaching yoga, and as my body let me down, I changed to Pilates, which I sort of, and from all these things I get quite a bit of insight that I can use in meditation. And there's also quite a lot of body awareness around these days that didn't, when I first started meditation, wasn't there. So I think when I first started meditation, they sort of recommended yoga and physical disciplines as being a way of getting in contact with the body. So I'm just going to try to present what I've picked up over time, and hopefully it's useful for you. So relaxation, I think, is part and parcel of body awareness. It's when you become more and more embodied or present in your body, then sort of relaxation is something that you do within the course of practice. So there's sort of a few physical things to know about that I've picked up. And when I used to do yoga, I used to notice that it's usually ladies, because more ladies do yoga than men. That when they sort of did jump their arms apart, I used to notice that their hands were sort of like that. And I was amazed at that. That there was, and when I was trying to do it, I noticed that in order to get my hands just to, supposed to be stretching the hand out, I found that I was actually pulling on the inside part of my hand, and then I noticed that if I pulled on the top part of my hand, it actually did what I thought was straight. And then what I could do is let go of both sides of the tension, and the hand stayed without any sense of tightness. So that sort of transfers then to other parts of your body, and the realization that we have complementary sets of muscles. So if we sort of bending our arm, we tend to use our bicep just to bend it, and we use it here. And then when we're straightening it, again, we're using muscles there. So they complement each other. So that kind of thing is present in all over our body, and it's useful as a way of relaxing, to be able to realize that you can relax a muscle in one direction and in the other direction. So relaxation is really letting go. So it can be a symbol for whole Buddhist practice of letting go of what's not good for us, both physically and mentally. So what else can when I practice body awareness myself, I sometimes really like to do it lying down. And there's the posture for practicing like that is to be lying down, just have a slight raise under your head, with knees bent, feet apart, and knees leaning in. And when you're lying down, you can really, really, really let go and feel the weight of your body. So I'm meandering around the topic now, but I think I'll yes, some things that I do as sort of in preparation that I can do, if you're feeling really tight, is you're probably aware of these kind of things where which are difficult to demonstrate on the screen. But if I stick my arm out, and I can feel relaxation in my arm if I start by sort of making a slight fist and tightening along the arm, all the way to the shoulder and all the way down into the back. So we're forming what we call a kinetic chain there. And that you can feel the tightness. And sometimes we think that, we have to feel tightness in our muscles in order to do stuff. So tighten it for about a count of 10. And then I begin to relax everything. And I try and relax for a count of 20. So it's sort of like the tightening, tensing of muscles. It's when you let go, you can let go and go beyond the ordinary resting tightness of the muscle. Yeah. Right. So I can talk about relaxation there as muscular mainly. So all a muscle can do is to contract and then lengthen. So it's important to relax a muscle as well as to contract it. And I remember reading a book by an Olympic coach who he was coached different sports and mainly athletes. And he had one athlete who, in order to be able to sprint really fast, you need to be able to relax and contract very, very quickly. And this particular athlete was having problems that he wasn't able to relax the muscles, he could contract them. So he was getting lesions in the muscles. I think it must have been competing muscles. So he persuaded him to do some yoga to sort of help with this. And the athlete enjoyed the yoga so much, he said, well, you can, I'll give up the running and I'll stick with the yoga. So I thought that was quite interesting. So yes, talking about muscles, we have certain muscles which contract only a small amount, but they're working all the time. So these these are the muscles that do with breathing, because we breathe all the time, and posture, especially when we're sitting or standing. So it's like these muscles are always adjusting, a bit like the ropes on the rigging of a sailing ship. So that those we want to, when we're in meditation in our postures, we need to be aware that they're working all the time and let them do their thing. But we also have sort of big muscles in our body around the surface muscles. They tend to do the heavy lifting, and they can really almost halve, which I think is sort of like total contraction, but they can't do it for too long. So when we're over tense, and I think that's what relaxation is dealing with, the unnecessary excess tension that can cause unpleasant feelings in our body or in our mind, if it's a mental tension. Yes, so these, when we're in our meditation posture, we can totally let go, almost, because I think there's a kind of resting contraction in a muscle, which we call muscle tone. So when we've been exercising and we're sort of feeling fit, we get a nice kind of sensation from our resting muscles. So yes. So apart from with muscles, we can notice them in our body. We can sense them. We can, when we're into our meditation posture, we can notice them. But also we can notice the action of the muscles, which sort of which can control muscles, and a way of contacting that is to notice that we have muscles in our teeth. So if we sort of close our eyes, we can sort of just take our attention to our teeth, and we can really feel this sort of sensations there, and then, because there's absolutely no way we can relax our teeth in the same sense as muscles, but we can notice that we have these, we're noticing the nervous system. Yeah. So one way I have of applying that that observation about our nervous system is something I do better when I'm lying down, but we can do it while we're sat here. And it's to imagine that that we've got our hands resting on our lap and we're trying to lift them up, but we're telling ourselves that the arms are too heavy. So it's sort of like we're trying to lift them up, but they're too heavy. So you can do this, and it's like we're working with the nerves sensations that are trying to lift us up, but we're also telling ourselves that the muscles are too heavy. So we're trying to lift, but they're too heavy. So I'm trying to lift my arms up, and what can happen is they begin to feel a bit light because you're straining with them, but you're really overworking the nerve, the nerve connections there. So you keep doing this and doing this, trying to lift them up, but they're too heavy. So you stay a little while doing that, and then you just let go, and you immediately get a sensation of that you're relaxing not only the muscles, but the sort of nerves that are supplying signals to the muscles. So I think that's enough theory for that. So we can begin to sort of, in order to become aware of our body, we use our posture. I'll just read this thing that I got. We become present in our experience by attending to posture, alignment, and poise, and engaging with the breath. So that's what we can begin to do now. So if we just get into a posture for sitting, what I tend to do these days is I sort of lift myself up from the seat and I will sit in a chair. I tilt the pelvis slightly forward, because that's probably the best position for the pelvis. And when you do that, it takes the head of our femurs back. And when we sit down again, we've got more contact with the seat, and we can usually feel our sitting bones. Let's see. If you do that, and then you can rest your hands on your lap, your feet on the floor, and then we can close our eyes, and that helps us take our awareness inside our bodies. And then we can contact our body using the imagination. We sort of know what our body looks like. And we can feel our sitting bones. And the first thing to do then is to let the breath lift us up. So as we breathe in, our spine actually slightly shortens, but our rib cage lifts and opens up. So you can get a sense of lift as you're breathing in, and the lift comes from the sitting bones. And then as we're breathing out, the spine can lengthen again, so we can get a sense that as we're breathing out, we're lifting up, and that lift is also coming from the sitting bones. So in this way, we're using the breath to do the heavy lifting in the upper body posture. So just sense that, just follow the breath, lifting us up as we breathe in, and lifting us up as we breathe out. And then just slightly nodding our chin helps us to lift the back of the neck. So we've got sort of two ends to the posture. So in our seat, it's in contact with our, well, whatever we're sitting on, but we can look at it as being grounded, as being in connection with the earth. So we're sat, and as we breathe in, we're lifting up from this earthing, this grounding, and as we breathe out, we're lifting up from this grounding. And there should be no effort in the lift. So it's holding our posture. And then we can also think at the other end of there being a sky hook that's lifting us up. So we can just focus on the length of our spine, right up to the top of the head. And we're just using the effort of the breathing, the natural effort, the natural action of the ribs lifting and opening, and our posture muscles, just keeping our body upright. And then we can experiment with balance. So moving our body from side to side, backwards and forwards. So that's keeping our poise and balance in the posture, which should be effortless. And we're using our breath to sort of keep ourselves relaxed, keeping length in the muscles. And then we can focus on the more external muscles in our arms, our legs, face, and our back, and just allow them to go down into the earth. So we've got a sense of gravity in our body, and that directly works on the muscles and lengthens them, softens them. So then we can follow the breath a bit more and imagine that as we breathe out, we're breathing down into our sitting bones, into the seat, wherever we sat, and through the seat into the floor, and then along to the walls and down into the foundations and down into the earth. So you can get this a sense of a long breath out. And we can associate with this out breath the lengthening of muscles downwards. So all the muscles in our arms and our legs that go down, they can lengthen with this out breath. And then as we breathe in, we can imagine them breathing in from the earth, breathing up. And with the in-breath, we can sort of imagine lengthening and relaxing all the muscles that are going in the other direction, upwards. So just spend some time with our breath, with our sense of gravity. We also note that we're using a facility that we have in our minds, that we have a model of our body, so that wherever we imagine, we can then visit with our sense of touch. So our sense of touch can be taken anywhere in our body. And we can use this to sort of bring the whole body alive. So if we start with the head and move the head center, we can bring our awareness there to our imagining our face and how it looks. And just feel the sensations in the skin, first of all. So around the eyes and the nose and the mouth, the jaw, and even inside the mouth. There are lots of nerve endings in the face, and it's a favorite place for holding tension. I certainly have a tension habit. So just paying attention to the face and then the muscles. So you start with the eyebrows and just imagine that the eyebrows are moving away from each other. So rather than a heavy physical sensation around the eyebrows, I just imagine that it's a tendency for the eyebrows to move away from each other. It's that kind of it's a letting go. And what you do know about that is it stops your brows from furrowing. So you're just letting the eyebrows go. And then that's accompanied by sensations in the forehead that you can imagine that the skin is softening, again moving from side to side. And then you can move to the eyes quite easily in your awareness, imagining, just listening to the sense of touch, and looking in around the muscles of the eye. They're also moving all the time. So just imagine relaxing, letting go of your eyes. And then around the nose. So we know there are quite a lot of nerve endings in the nose area. And so if we ever get a bang on the nose, we certainly know about it for quite a while afterwards. And then around the mouth. So if we just notice and try and let go of the lower jaw, just notice the lips touching each other. And again, we can connect with the teeth, and we know, well, we've got lots of nerve endings in the teeth because they're there to make sure that we don't accidentally chew stones and other nasty things. And then just think of the jaw, from the ear to the point of the chin. Just notice if there's any tension there. And seeing just gently opening and shutting the mouth and letting the jaw come down and then up. And just notice if there is any a letting go sensation in the jaw. And then imagine looking under the skin, into the muscles of the face, into the bones of the skull, and just seeing if there's anything there to notice. Maybe looking in our imagination in the brain, into the muscles of the neck, to the ears. Just seeing what you notice, and if there's any tightness that you can let go of. So all the while you're noticing that the chest and the spine is lifting as you breathe in and out. And then you can take your awareness, your imagination, and then your sense of touch to your neck. First of all, noticing the shape of the neck. What can you feel in the skin? And taking your awareness under the skin. Building up an awareness of the whole head center. And just letting gravity take over. And then we can take our awareness down to our shoulders. Just noticing the sensations from the skin. And then looking under the skin and in our imagination. And just letting go of the muscles. Just letting gravity take them over. Allowing your shoulder blades to fall down towards the back, towards your bottom. Lifting the upper chest. Noticing the armpits and the upper arms. We're bringing our attention then to the heart center, which we can just spend some time in. So noticing the whole of the rib cage, the shape, the front and the back. Looking for a sense of warmth, so we're looking inside the body. And all the while we've got the sense of the easy lift in our trunk as we breathe in and as we breathe out. Also the relaxing down in all the surface areas. Now because I do this a fair bit, I readily get a sense of warmth in the heart area. But where the heart center is you need to spend some time just looking for it, just taking your awareness, your imagination, your sense of touch into the body, into the chest area, heart area. And then we can move our awareness, our attention, imagination down to the abdomen, so the upper abdomen from your ribs to your navel, and then from your navel to your pelvic floor, the lower abdomen. Just imagining, just noting the shape in our imagination, and then listening to our sense of touch, seeing the sensations that come back from the skin, and then looking underneath the skin into the muscles, the flow of blood, the organs, and just noting what sensations we get back. And then down to our seat once more, connecting with the earth. And then imagine from your seat of letting go from your hips, to your knees. Imagining the shape of the muscles in the leg, the shape of the leg, big muscles, and letting go. Seeing what happens. So as our muscles lengthen and soften, we get a sense of space, sense of opening. With the softening and lengthening of muscles, we get a sense of joints opening as well. We get space in the hip joints and the knee joint. And then extend your imagination. So all the while you're still lifting the trunk gently, easily, just letting the breath do the work. Then imagine lengthening down from the knees to the ankles, to the heels. Imagining the shape of the legs, the calves, the flat part of the shins. Looking under the skin into the muscles, and the flow of blood in the lower legs. Just imagining the feet lengthening away from the knees, especially as we breathe out. And then imagining the knees lengthening away from the heels as we breathe in. And then the same with the feet, imagining the toes lengthening away from the heels and ankles, especially as we breathe out. And then feeling the heels and ankles lengthening away from the toes, especially as we breathe in. So then we can connect with our breath. And got down to our feet. Breath moving all the way from our feet up to our head as we breathe in. Connecting with the sky hook in a sense of lift. And then connecting with the breath as we breathe out. Just letting go, letting all our limbs lengthen. Letting the muscles soften as we breathe out. So we're connecting with the breath, being present in the whole of our body, not just in our chest. So we're connecting with the actual breath, not any idea of the breath. Following the sensations of breathing. But the sensations are everywhere. Just by paying, just switch our attention to, say, our legs, and just look for the presence of the breath moving in and out, on the in-breath and out-breath. And in our arms, on the in-breath and out-breath. And up our back, into our head. So you may have noticed I've neglected the arms. So we take our attention to our arms, noticing the shape of the upper arms, the skin. Taking our imagination under the skin into the muscles and the flesh, and the circulation of blood, and then down to our lower arms, and then down to our hands. So our hands are a really good place to start for contacting the energy that's also within our body, which also helps us to relax and be present in our body. Just pay attention to or listen to the sense of touch in your hands, where we have lots and lots of nerve endings, lots of muscular skills. We can put our hands into all sorts of different positions. So much skill that can, if we just pay attention looking under the skin, maybe we can notice a sense of tingling with that energy. The tingling of the nerves, gentle presence of the muscles. Just stay paying attention to the hands. Just allowing that sense of energy to grow there. And then imagine that energy moving into the lower arms. So just staying present, listening to the body, listening to the arms. Try and imagine and get a sense of that energy moving along to the elbows. And then moving from the elbows up to the shoulders. And then feel the energy moving across from shoulder to shoulder. And just staying with this awareness, building it up. And then imagine the energy moving up to join all the energy in the face, around the eyes and the nose and the mouth and the neck. And then imagine this energy moving down from the shoulders, from the back and the sides and the front, and down towards the seat, passing through the heart center, passing through the center of gravity in your lower abdomen, down into your sitting bone. So just try and simplify the whole practice. Bringing the whole body alive with this energy. Just sitting with it. And then just feeling the breath. The rhythmic movement of the breath in and out of this body of energy. And just sit with awareness of our body and its energy and the movement of the breath. So as you sit in this more simplified way, the sense of the energy of the body, in the presence of the breath. You can sometimes notice that there are signs of tension, maybe a slight ache, tightness suddenly appearing. And it's as if we're as we get more sensitive to the more subtle aspects of our body, we're discovering tensions and tightnesses that have been sort of buried for quite a while, but so used to them under normal circumstances. You just turn towards them if you notice anything. Your head, favourite place for me, your arms. Sometimes in the lower back. And just bring your breath, allow them to sit alongside the awareness of the breath. Allowing the breath to flow in and out of them. Now we can bring practice to a closing state by letting go of any attention, any effort in our attention. Just staying with our relaxed body, whatever awareness that we've been building up. And then beginning to let in the more external sensations, the sounds around us, sense of light and what we can see behind our eyelids. Anything in our sense of taste and smell. And then noticing the feelings we have, positive or negative, or just neutral. And maybe notice any thoughts, any perceptions. Just sitting in a receptive state to whatever arises in our awareness, in our attention. slowly let your eyes open and bring ourselves back to this meeting. Okay.
Thanks, Nishpara. That's brilliant. I think something I noticed there was that when you're paying that much attention to detail of your actual physical experience, you know, the whole thing of like whether we're in lockdown or not in lockdown doesn't seem to matter so much, you know, and it's like life just becomes quite rich, and you know, there's so much there, isn't there, you know, that we don't need to be like looking outside of, you know, ourselves for stimulation or whatever, you know. It's just, there's a whole rich world there,
Yeah,
that we can, you know, feel into. Yeah. Yeah, thanks.
well, I hope it worked for people. I quite like meandering around the body and just noticing what's happening, but then you try and get this sense of unity, and that sense of energy flowing around the body seems to bring everything together, along with the unification that the breath brings to your body awareness as well.
Yeah, yeah.
So I think it becomes a simplification process.
Yeah.
And the same applies to metta, I think, as well, where you're focusing on the heart center, and also just the either your own, you know, metta towards yourself or towards the, you know, the other people that you use, and then this general sense of metta.
Yeah. Maybe I should get you back and do a metta bhavana. Okay, great. All right. Thanks very much.
Okay.
See you later. Bye.
Right, I hope it helped.